Well, hello guys, and did we reach our goal? We have got 100 subscribers before election day as was planned. So now I can finally advance to my next goal, which seems very plausible, which is reaching 200 subscribers before we know who wins the election. But hey, it's Halloween. Now, as you might have noticed, both Biden and Trump had their rallies in Minnesota. Well, I tried to watch a bit of both of them. Now, Trump's rally was disrupted by the governor, who basically said, no, you're not allowed to have people rallying here. And so thousands of people were locked out outside, and he was speaking to a much smaller audience than what he was used to. Now, Biden's rally, of course, was able to go on as normal, and it was cringe. The only sound you hear is Biden talking, and car horns. The audience was consisting mostly of cars, and they were spread out, and when people started honking with their cars, you would probably guess that this is their way of approving and clapping and yelling in support. But no, that was Trump supporters. So the only sound you could hear was Biden talking and Trump supporters honking with their car horns. Now, naturally, they did not show the audience because they do not want to remind people that there are never more than 100 people on a Biden rally. But watching this was completely cringe. I mean, take a look.
Because he is who he is. Donald Trump has waved the white flag and surrendered to this virus. But the American people don't give up. They don't cower. Neither will I. Remember when he did that interview, he told Bob Woodward that he knew about the virus and how deadly it was at the end of January. But he didn't tell anybody. He didn't even tell those folks.
Oh my god, that was cringe. And it lasted on for 20 minutes. 20 minutes with no other sounds than Biden and Trump supporters. I mean, it was difficult to watch. I don't know how he did it. I almost feel sorry for the man because he was standing there completely alone and had to remind himself to continue the speech. You can almost understand why he stays in the basement all day when this is what meets him when he goes up. Just eternal hordes of Trump supporters waving their flags, honking with their car horns, and basically just showing their support for the president. But let's go and take a look at Trump's rally, which was not as crowded as they usually are.
4 days from now, we're going to win the state of Minnesota. And I did not forget you because we were given a very, very hard time by your so-called leaders, but they're not very good leaders, as you found out during the riots. And we're going to win 4 more years in our great White House. Thank you. As you know, there are at least 25,000 people who wanted to be here tonight. We just saw a lot of them. Wanted to pay our respects. They were here for a long time. They waited and waited, and then the governor did bad things.
Just think about that. People were waiting for hours outside the airport, waiting for the president to speak, but because of the elected Democrats in the state of Minnesota, they were not able to. And Trump had to keep a rally with almost no people, well, still more than at the Biden rally, but it was not close to the energy that we are used to from these rallies. And he has sort of set himself a high bar, because what we're used to is this. Yeah, he brought the Nelk Boys up at stage to dance with him to YMCA. If you haven't heard of them, you should look for them at YouTube and at Instagram. They are awesome. So just watching a Trump rally, even remotely, even on your computer, even on your television, just makes you happy. Now, watching that Biden rally and most Biden rallies is just cringe. The enthusiasm, the happiness, the optimism is just so much different. But I'm not going to make all of this video about talking about the rallies. Let's go to the polls. Oh, but Savage Planet, you never care about the polls, do you? Well, I don't base much on the polls, I do not, because the polls are always so much wrong, but as the Trafalgar Group has proven to be right a lot, I thought it was nice to dedicate some time and effort to look into their polls. For example, this one from Michigan, the Michigan statewide presidential and US Senate survey. Okay, let's see, responsive rate 1.38, Margin of error, yeah, boring. Okay, so according to this poll, Trump has the lead in Michigan, 46.7% to 44.9%, almost 2% in front of, ahead of Joe Biden. But there is actually surprisingly much third-party vote, if you ask me. Joe Jorgensen, which I feel is sort of a nobody compared to previous third-party candidates, is polling at 2.7. It's not too bad. In the Senate, the Senate is actually, the gap here is even bigger. John James leading by 2.2 points ahead of Gary Peters. And there are not really much third-party or undecided votes in this contest. John James is awesome, by the way. Gary Peters, don't know much about him. I think he's sort of the typical establishment career politician. Age participation. Now you could ask, you could put question mark, because it looks like they have polled maybe more older people than eventually end up voting. Very few young people, but again, the older people are better at turning out to vote. So we'll see. Ethnicity. I am no expert on the ethnicity in Michigan. I know that there are not many Hispanics and mostly black and white. So I'm not sure. When it comes to gender, they have polled significantly more women, and I know that women are a bigger part of the electorate than men. I don't know if it's this much, like an 8-point lead with women, but women are typically also more Democrats. So if they have polled too many women and Republicans are still leading, that's good for the Republicans. Something I also found exciting that caught my attention, that is that apparently Tina Smith and Jason Lewis in the Minnesota Senate race are now tied. It's a dead heat. Yes, the latest poll had Tina Smith ahead by 1 point over Jason Lewis, and no poll has actually had Jason Lewis ahead, so it would have to be based on turnout. But here you basically see how it looks in the latest poll, and now it's just a few days before election day. Tina Smith's number have been plummeting in just a few days, and this clearly shows that Jason Lewis has caught up, despite Lewis having much lesser money. But with the good turnout and with the Republicans voting heavily on election day, there is hope. There is absolutely hope. So Survey USA is, by the way, the poll that has Tina Smith only 1 point ahead and basically tied. So not Trafalgar, not Rasmussen. You cannot say that it's a right-wing poll in the way that right-wing means accurate. So it will be really exciting to see if this opens a door for the Republicans to pick up a seat. I mean, that would be a game changer in the ever more frightening battle for the US Senate. Well, anyway, that's all I had for this video. Please like, please subscribe, continue to push that like button and get my numbers up. It's really good for the algorithm. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. See you next time.